And we're live. Epic conversation lined up with Mercian. Can't miss this. Very, very important stuff we're going to be talking about tonight. Mercian, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show, mate. How's it going? How you doing, buddy? You alright?
Yeah, I'm great. Yeah. Sorry,
Oh, you got the echo.
yeah,
You
I've
got
got
the
I've got all the
echo.
street. So we started so early. I forgot to mute everything and switch everything down. Sorry
That's
about that.
alright. That is alright.
Oh,
Answer to the guy in the chat. I've got a Brutus. Já visitou Florianopolis? No. I did meet a girl from Florianopolis though. She was very nice, but no, I did not visit. I heard it's beautiful and nice, and yeah, definitely the place to go if you're in Brazil. But yeah, dude. So what were we talking about? What did we plan to talk about, Mercian? What was
we
what are
didn't
we?
plan to, we didn't plan to talk about anything. I don't think. I just sort of like, do you want to stream on Saturday night? I was like, yeah, okay.
All right. Well, I thought I'd just kind of like talk shop with you, to be honest with you, because like I didn't want to.
Very good, very good. Go on then.
Yeah, because like obviously I've stopped. We're not. I'm not. I don't want to do. I don't want to do the Anglo Gang anymore, and I'm just kind of fried out. So I just thought I'd. I didn't want to like have. I didn't want to. You have like hard feelings or whatever. So I just thought I'd come
I
on.
don't have any hard feelings. What would you be prepared to talk about that in public about?
I'll talk about anything in public. I mean, it's all in my video.
Yeah. No, but that video you made, that you didn't. I mean, you made that before
No,
the
I didn't
last.
say I was going to stop. It's just I made the video and then it just kind of clarified in my mind. It was like, ooh, you know, it just kind of clarified in my mind, like, what am I doing? Like, I'd just rather interview people than do a weekly show, basically. Like, I want to network. I want to spread my wings. I want to meet new people. I've actually been thinking of an analogy. I've been talking to Aubrey about this. I was saying, like, the merry-go-round or the circle jerk. It's not really a very good analogy. I think pinball machine is a good analogy, you know? Like, the pinball goes in, and then, what do you call them? Levers? What hits the ball? What is that thing? You know how a pinball machine works. Like, you press the button, it
Oh,
goes boom.
flippers.
Eh?
The flippers, yeah.
Yeah. So the flippers. So the pinball goes in, the flipper hits the ball, and then you got different flippers, and they kind of hit the ball. Then you kind of like keep the ball in the pinball machine as long as you can until it gets flushed down the drain, right? And that's how you lose the game. So I feel like I'm just one flipper, and like the guest comes in, I interview them, and I don't have any. I need some more flippers on my side, Mercian. Do you see what I'm saying? To keep the guests like in rotation, and so they stay in the game. So they stay in the game. Do you see what I'm saying? That's kind of like that's my latest
I
analogy.
understand, but I mean, the
Yeah.
Anglo Gang is a good nexus point for it all. I mean, you don't. I'm not telling you definitely need to carry on with the Anglo Gang, but
Yeah.
there is something to be said about this time, this day, every week. We're all
Yeah.
going to meet up, and this is going to happen. But because like, unless you want to guarantee you're gonna interview a guest in the same situation, like this time, this day, this
Yeah.
this, this is what happens. You know, because that's the only way you can build something. I mean, like if TV worked, like, well, we'll put Only Fools and Horses on at any random time or day, it would never have got to the status it was in this country.
Well, I'm
You
just
know,
going to do stuff of the weekend. I'll just try and do
yeah,
Saturday night and Sunday night, basically, because I work during the week and I work nights.
yeah.
So
Well,
maybe
I
I'll
mean,
talk to.
Richard Crook's got, but AI's Unpopular Opinions was a hub of networking, and now it's disbanded. The whole thing has collapsed, and
Yeah,
he's
no,
right.
he's very correct, and I would like to copy, but I don't have the people to get on. Do you see? It's just like what I said. I'm just frustrated. Like basically, I just want you. I want you to interview people. Aubrey to interview people.
I've already got an interview lined up.
Have you?
Yes.
Oh well. Oh, fucking banging, mate. When?
Yeah.
With who?
Well, I don't know when. Right. Okay. So it's a chap from Derbyshire, and he was a member of UKIP and then Reform. His name was Joe West.
Right.
I don't know whether you could actually. I don't know if there's another Wikipedia you can look in. But
Yeah.
he was kind of pushed out by Reform, and I plan to interview him as soon as our schedules align. That's the next interview I have.
Banging.
There you go.
There you go. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. And then I can interview him afterwards, you know. And then
Well, I can send the details on. He's happy to be interviewed about it. He's a very affable guy. Well, the way I describe him is a poor man's Rupert Lowe, and that is not a derogatory term for him. I don't think, because he's not as famous as Rupert Lowe, is he? But I think he's in the same the same type of gentleman, should we say?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, there you go. So that's it. I mean, I just like. I don't know. It's like I said to you in when we were talking about it. I can't remember when we were talking about it, but it's just like I just want 5. You know Noel Gallagher, right? Apparently, once upon a time, he said he only wants 5 friends, and if he gets a 6th one, he'll drop another friend. You know, and I kind of just feel the same way. But I just like I've been on the internet for like 10 years, and it's like all my friends disappear. It really is bewildering to me because I'm quite loyal to my friends, and I try to keep them in line, but they always just drift off. Like I lost Unwashed. He's just quit the internet. I lost Grief. I lost so many people. I mean SJJ's just buggered off for a year, and he's come back. But I mean I don't know. Like now he's against Brexit, and it's just like I don't know what the hell's going on. Lost Thomas Baden Rice was a friend at one point, and now he just went mad. Jord was a friend at one point. He's just gone mad. Like I don't know, just the list goes on and on and on. You know, and so oh no, is that Grief in the chat? Oh, maybe it is. Oh, well, there you go.
Oh, dear me. I believe that.
I probably did ban him. Yeah, I'd like to talk to him again, but I mean, I don't know. He's a hardcore Millennial Woes fan, so it was always a source of conflict. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make is what I'm saying. I'm just thinking to myself, where am I going to be in 10 years' time? Do you see what I'm saying? Where am I going to be in 10 years' time? I want to have a group of friends and a network, so that in 10 years' time, the network is wider, and in 10 years' time, I can say, "Oh, mate, Mercian, haven't talked to you in ages. Come on the stream. Let's have a chat." Or somebody else. Do you see what I mean? Like, I just want something that's like friendly and far-reaching, and it just feels like because not on this channel, but on the previous channel, I've interviewed hundreds of people. I've had hundreds of people on my show, just random, and they come on and then they just go off into the ether, and then I never see them again.
It's a shame you don't have any recordings of that, because
well, it's all an Odyssey. The old channel's all an Odyssey.
Oh, well,
but people. What I'm trying to say is, it's like the internet is like a storm. It's like we're in a storm, or we're in an ocean, and we're just floating around, and people come in and then they disappear, and you never see them again, and it's just like, well, like, what's all that about? Like, you need to keep people like within a certain circle, so that they're kind of like part of something. Do you see what I mean? Like, you need something that's a bit sticky. Do you see what I'm getting at, Mercian?
I see what you're getting at. I mean, like, I can't promise that I'm going to be, because I can't see the future. I can't promise I'm going to be around forever. But I'm the kind of guy, if you can contact me, I will reach back out to you. That's the kind of guy I am. I don't know what I don't know what the future is.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
hopefully I'll be around, and hopefully we'll be in a better position by then.
yeah,
I want to. I mean, like, look, I want a channel. Um, I mean, like, I do feel like a bit of a grifter though. Like, my what I do need is a stable income stream. I've actually started applying for. I might stop being self-employed, and I am looking back to getting the traditional workforce, just so I can get a mortgage.
right, yeah, yeah. Um, well, I mean, you could make an income. I mean, that's a whole other question. I mean, this is one of the points which I made when I very first got involved in this thing like 10 years ago. It's just like there's no money in it, and so people don't stay. you know, um, it's like the people like the left wing. They're paying billions to maintain a media network, which is essentially just genociding white people. And then you've got this small ad hoc kind of resistance on the internet, but nobody's making any money out of it. And it's like we've got truth on our side, but we don't have any money. Whilst they've got money on their side, but everything they say is a lie. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, well, if we could solve the money problem, we'd have truth and money, and then we just win. Do you see what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
it's a perennial problem, and it means that people that are
and I hate sounding like a grifter because
yeah,
it shouldn't be about money. But the fact of the matter is, I've got bills to pay, and if I'm gonna put time into it, then I've got to make sure I'm paying those bills. It's I really don't want to make it about money though. It's all very well me sort of saying yeah, but I'm not getting paid. It's more my time versus because I'm time poor. If I'm not
yeah,
earning money, it's as simple as that. And I really wish it wasn't that way, but it is.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've never really asked for money. I did have a subscribe star at one point, but I never really shilled for it, and nobody ever gave me any money. So I don't think anybody's ever given me a donation, actually. But I guess I always thought, like, build up an audience first, and then you ask, isn't it? Like, instead of
Yeah,
asking.
I mean, I don't like the idea of asking for money. I suppose that a lot of people build up a brand and then they sell merch off the back of that brand
Yeah,
or whatever. I mean, that's one thing. Donations are a different kettle of fish because it's
yeah, it's a
almost like
charity
feeding,
thing, isn't
isn't
it?
it?
It's
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
weird.
yeah. And then like putting the videos out that we're putting on. I mean, YouTube would say, well, that's not monetizable, even though they're happy to monetize it for themselves. I mean, I recall the first apocalypse was like beheading ISIS videos, and a Coca-Cola advert would appear on it, and that was the first wave of apocalypse,
Right.
uh, if you recall that.
No, I
Uh,
don't. No, but that's kind of funny. Makes
yeah.
you want to.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's been other waves. So it's sort of like there's always like some kind of controversy, and then there's ads being shown on this controversy, and then it starts a whole another apocalypse, and then YouTube just brings down all the restrictions and regulations.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, selling merch is definitely like probably the honorable way to go about it because, like I said in my video, what is the plan? Um, the internet is basically a giant shopping channel. Like it's basically a giant advertising machine. That's what it
well,
is. Like Twitter itself makes money from advertising. Facebook makes money from advertising. YouTube makes money from advertising. And all of the e-celebs that are on all of these platforms, they get famous and they either get paid by the platforms themselves, and where's that money coming from? Well, it's coming from advertising, or they're selling their own merch, you see. So
yeah,
it's an advertising platform. That's what the internet is. It's a place where people are just trying to sell you stuff all the time. That's just the nature of the beast.
I
So
mean,
people they complain, they say, "Oh, it's grifting and stuff," and it's just like, well, I mean, that's the deal. That's what it's all about, and that also is just what entrepreneurialism is essentially in the 21st century. or at least in this decade, because you look at any YouTube channel and you ask, oh, how am I going to make money? And it's always somebody saying, get famous on YouTube and then sell stuff to people. So it's just kind of the nature of the beast.
Yeah, I mean, everyone does. I mean, like, you look at GB News and everything like that. They have adverts running through. That's part of how they get their funding. Do you know how TikTok works as a because I don't have adverts. They basically team you with a video platform attached to it. But everyone thinks it's just a video platform. But that video platform is there to hot stuff on a like a Temu site.
Oh, really? Yeah, I'm not on
Yeah.
it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's how TikTok works. That's how they make their money. Sort of like they encourage. In fact, they'll every now and again they'll reach out to you, sort of like, can you start promoting this product for us, and we'll
Right.
give you X amount of money or whatever.
Well, this is the great danger for America, because they they've moved their manufacturing base over to China. And so all that's left in America, I mean, the great story of the 21st century is just Silicon Valley and the rise of social media. But all of these big, so-called big companies, they're all just shopping channels. And they're selling stuff that's made in China. And so when China comes along with its own social media app, it's like, well, we don't really need Facebook anymore, or Twitter, or Instagram, or anything. So now China's got both the shop and the manufacturing, essentially. They've got everything, and what's America got? It's got nothing. So it's a huge shift. I can kind of understand why Trump banned it. So it's a huge danger.
Well,
But
I mean, it's basically what the West has been doing for a great number of years, because initially we started moving manufacturing to Japan, and we got their economy going again post Second World War.
yeah,
Then we started to move it to Taiwan, I think it was, which I know China thinks it's their plot of land. I mean, I don't know the geopolitics of that, but it wasn't technically China. I don't know if there was another country, Malaysia as well, possibly. Basically, we started moving the manufacturing until we got to China, and then China have basically took it all. Because normally, what would happen once we get an economy going in the economic ring of fire, or whatever it was called, we normally find a new place to get all the manufacturing done. I'd imagine Vietnam would have been the next in line, or something like that.
yeah, yeah, maybe. Well, they need to reindustrialize. They need to reindustrialize America. That's the solution to that problem.
Well, that I mean, reindustrialize this country as well.
Yeah,
I mean, I mean, like I've said before, I don't understand, because at the moment our military it needs to buy weapons from America essentially,
yeah.
and I really feel like to be an effective fighting force, we should manufacture our own weapons and
Yeah,
vehicles.
but just to like
And,
go back to the point, because we're talking. I don't know what we're talking
oh
about.
yeah, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no. I went off topic as well, but yeah. I mean, I guess what am I talking about here? I mean, I guess I'm just like good. Like the distant right's got a problem because people get involved in it and they put in a lot of time and effort, and then they don't make any money, and then they leave. Basically, I mean, this is what you were saying. And it's
That is
like,
a problem. Yeah,
yeah,
and again,
where
I think that it shouldn't be about the money. Unfortunately, we we need money. If you're going to
you
put
need
that
money,
kind
yeah,
of time into it, you need to be able to pay rent, mortgages, food, heat, whatever you need.
yeah,
Unfortunately, that's just the reality of it. Otherwise, you'd be like someone like me, sort of like, right, okay, I need to put time and effort into the things that are making me money,
yeah.
uh, and I can't put the kind of time. I mean, maybe that's what our elites are relying on when it comes to the dissident right, to make sure we're being a wage slave.
Yeah. So I mean, in the old days of the dissident right, there was a. I don't really see this meme anymore because we're in a kind of like new wave now. But the old days, like before 2020, I suppose, before like the rise of the Lotus Eaters and this new generation of base Zoomers, there was a lot of like anti grifting. Like a lot of people were just like, oh, you're a grifter, you're a grifter. Why are you trying to sell stuff to people and blah 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 blah. That seems to have gone away a bit now, but I do think, yeah, it's a problem because people they don't put a huge amount of time and energy into trying to save their country, because they know, like, you stick your neck out there and you get your head shot off, and then you go to jail for hate speech and you don't make any money out of it, right? Whereas the left, if I was a lefty and I was putting all this time and effort into, preaching transgenderism on YouTube or whatever it is, I could probably guarantee I'd be funded by some NGO by now. I'm kind of half convinced that Claire Core is funded by like the Muslim Brotherhood or something. I mean, I just like, where did she get her endless energy from for secular Quranism? So it's a huge problem. It's a huge problem. And I guess the solution is to sell merch to somebody. Tharium is raising the question: having patrons is Tradham based. I mean, I used to say this a lot, but I don't know if it's really like a Western civilization thing at this point. I think we've just lost the ability to ask for charity and to give charity.
Well, let me cast your mind back to before the first apocalypse, and like I said, the first apocalypse was like ISIS videos getting Coca-Cola adverts on them. Before that point, if you had a YouTube channel and you had no subscribers and you put content out on there, it was monetized, and you had a cut of that profit if you managed to get a viral video. That's why you need 10,000 subscribers and X amount of watch hours. So you can't just put like a really offensive video out there like ISIS were and profit off of it. That was when that happened, and there's been other things since then. Obviously, there's been more than one apocalypse, but every time an apocalypse happens, it
okay, but. What do you think about what Tharium's saying here? What do you think about patrons? Because let me just give you my opinion, and you can respond. Like, this is one of the things which I used to say like 10 years ago, right? And I just hit a brick wall with it, and I gave up. And now I don't know what I think about it, to be honest with you. But when I first got involved with the alt-right, I basically made the point, like the Muslims, they've got their imams, right? And they give money to their imams in charity. It's actually Muslim law. You have to give charity. So they give money to their imams, and the imams maintain the culture and essentially protect Islam and protect the people, right? The Jews have got the rabbis, the Hindus have got the Brahmins, Christianity, I suppose, used to have vicars and preachers and stuff like that. So in various different religions and groups around the world, there has always been a tradition of giving money to the priest or the holy man, and then the holy man would be able to dedicate his life essentially to studying the history and the culture of whatever their history or culture is, and to propagating that and to protecting like the flock and protecting the civilization and its culture. But in our modern society, because we've embraced capitalism, we've developed a society in which that just doesn't really exist anymore, and nobody asks for donations. And instead, it's like, well, I guess you sell merch to people, or I guess if you're a pseudo-intellectual and you've got an idea to present, you get a job in a newspaper, or you write a book, I suppose, right? Or make a movie or a documentary. So we've lost this culture of, there's this guy, he's fighting for our group, I'm going to give him money. Do you see what I mean? It's just not part of white civilization anymore. I'm not really a criticism or a complaint. It's just an observation, like an anthropological observation. Maybe that's a great weakness, and maybe we need to go back to the kind of culture in which people give money to the local priest, essentially the local intellectual that's trying to defend England or whatever the case, however it would manifest.
I mean, I see. Yeah, I mean, I can't argue against that. It's the thing about charity is it needs to be voluntary. Because if it's not voluntary, then basically it's the tax, isn't it?
Yeah, it should be voluntary. Yeah.
And and I look, I want. I mean, otherwise, if you,
But you see what I'm saying? Like other civilizations have a culture in which people donate money to the priest, and the priest protects the civilization. We do not have that. White people do not have that. Do you see the point I'm making?
We certainly don't have any more.
It's just an anthropological point. Like we don't have that, and maybe it's because the ethno-nationalist movement is a sectarian movement. It's non-religious, and people, they don't feel like donating to somebody that doesn't believe in God. I mean, maybe people just feel like maybe people are more inclined to donate if it's a spiritual thing. I don't know.
I mean, we're in as far as the white race is concerned, we're on uncharted waters. We've never had to defend our positions like this before in all of human history, I would imagine. I mean, the closest we got was the Crusades, but quite frankly, we were crushing it.
Yeah. Well, we got totally smashed by Islam, and then we pushed back a little bit.
Yeah, well, I mean,
it wasn't really a great victory.
Well, I mean, what in roots did Islam have in Europe? Spain.
They took the whole of North Africa, Mercian.
North Africa's not Europe, though, is it?
Used to be white, used to be Christian. It's not anymore.
Well, that is true, I guess.
Yeah, and the Middle East. It also used to be white, used to be Christian. The Anatolian Peninsula used to be white, used to be Christian. Arabia was never white and Christian, but a huge chunk of the Middle East were. I mean, a lot of those cities were beautiful. They were white, they were Christian. You got to read Sword and Scimitar, mate. What they did to us is horrific. One of the reasons we had the Dark Ages is because of Islam. They wrecked us. They pushed us.
We don't do anything about it.
Well, yeah.
And I'm still upset they renamed the capital of Turkey from Constantinople to Istanbul. What the hell is that? I mean,
yeah.
What a beautiful name that was. I know it was named after a Roman emperor or whatever, but I much prefer Constantinople. In fact, if you have another crusade, that would be my manifesto, renaming Istanbul Constantinople. That'd be definitely up there for me.
Well, yeah, it has to be done. It has to be done. The Russians want it. Because then it'll give them access to the Mediterranean. I think we should just give it to them, to be honest with you, as long as they get the job done. But I mean, you see the point. I'm just coming back to the point Tharium was raising. Like, we don't have this culture of donation. We don't have. I mean, people. There's one reason why I hate the welfare state, by the way. It's like you're taking away people's ability to give charity, because that is a virtue. It is virtuous to give charity. You're cultivating a generosity within yourself when you give money to something. When you give money voluntarily to something that is good and that you believe in, it makes you feel good, and it makes you stronger. Essentially, it makes your mind strong. It's just psychologically very good. It's very healthy, essentially, and this has been taken from us by the welfare state, because nobody thinks, oh, I need to look after poor people, or I need to look after that lady down the road. She's a bit old and her husband's died. I need to make sure she's got enough to eat or whatever. So you lose the very human instinct of being a caring person for your community, because you're paying taxes to the government, and the government's, well, you're getting tax raped by the government, so the government can pay for a bunch of useless people to sit in their asses and do nothing. So the whole of our country has lost its generosity. It's lost the virtue of generosity. Do you see the point I'm making?
Yeah, I see the point. Well, basically, we're losing charity in the fact. I think they've replaced charity with social justice, and they've replaced the funding of what charities do. Like you say, in tax. I mean, it's not just paying for all the foreigners to stay wherever they're staying. It's the I mean, for example, I'm a big car fan, but I mean, the vehicle excise duty, if we're going to be specific about it, it's still called that or called something else now. Most of that ends up in NGOs that specifically um, target car drivers and try and get cars off the road. It's sort of like,
Oh, yeah,
I'm paying. Because you're not paying for the upkeep of the roads. That's done by the councils. So you're basically paying for the tax on the vehicle to have someone say we don't want vehicles on the road. I mean,
yeah,
how backwards that?
yeah,
It's everything. It's everything the government does.
yeah. It
You
just
know,
sucks all the money out.
yeah, it's wasted on absolute bullshit across the board. Whether it's foreigners, foreign aid, activism, all these quangos and NGOs that they're giving money to, the grants on everything, the amount of bloat and waste.
Yeah,
I mean, we all. I mean, it should be freedom of information to. I suppose all the information's out there, but I would love to. I'd love to know. I'd love to know how much waste. There's just sort of like, well, we could cut this, we could cut that, we could cut that. I mean, I remember. Do you remember during the farmers' protest and Jeremy Clarkson was
mm,
asked, "Well, where should we get the money from?" He says, "Right, okay, I'll go into that building. I'll ask that person, what are you doing? And if I don't understand the job he's doing, he's fired." And he's
yeah,
right. It's
yeah, mate.
so.
It's the civil service. It's the welfare state. I'm kind of swinging around to Dominic Cummings' point of view, where he basically just says the civil service destroyed the British Empire. I mean, I don't know. I tried looking at his blog. It's like incomprehensibly, like it's just really badly edited. Like I hate it when people write a Substack and it's like lots of headlines and sub-headlines, and it's just like, well, I can't fucking look at this, mate. Can you just write in ordinary paragraphs like an ordinary human being? But whatever. Yeah. This is the great problem of our age. We are ruled. We don't have feudalism anymore. Instead, we have a bureaucracy. We essentially we spend half of our lives working to pay for this bureaucracy that rules over us. Because
Yeah.
like half of the money that you make in your life is given to the government, so that a bunch of civil servants can sit around and tell us that we're evil. Basically, it is absolutely horrendous. We are being completely tax raped.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking to Jesus Fried Christ about this, and I sort of said there needs to be in the Constitution what we're allowed to be taxed for. We need we
Yeah,
need we need a Constitution sort of like taxes should pay for X, Y, and Z, and then anything that spend our tax money on should be justified all the time. Like they should be able to justify it. And mind you, I suppose people would be like, "Oh yes, we need all these civil servants."
well,
And
the thing I think, because we talked about this on the stream, I think the solution is that if you are receiving benefits from the government, you don't get to vote. That
do you
has
know
to be
what?
a law.
Do you know
Because if
what?
you don't do that, what happens is, and what has happened to Western civilization is, we have this growing and growing and growing mass of benefit receivers, right? The retired people are number one in this category, and everybody else and has got to work to support a growing mass of, first of all, the government, but then also the people that receive the governments, the benefits. So you have this, you're paying for to maintain a giant civil service that tax rapes you and then takes your money and then maintains a giant mass of people who are just sitting around and doing nothing. This is the system that we've created, and so you've got to stop that by saying, look, if you are receiving benefits, you don't get a vote, buddy.
Do you know, I was thinking for a long time, I really didn't give a shit about politics, or I didn't care to vote.
Yeah.
And that's, in a weird way, that's kind of a good thing, because it means you've got nothing. You're not worried about anything. You're not concerned with politics. Just, it's not on your mind. You're not being oppressed in any kind of way. You're happy with the status quo. Like, and abstain of the vote is for two reasons. Either you're happy with the situation and you don't care, or you don't believe your vote can change anything. And I think for most people throughout history, it's been the former. Now, I think if anyone abstains from voting, it's because they feel like it won't change anything. Like,
Yeah.
I was definitely, when I was an idiot 20-something, it was definitely the former for me.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't feel like I needed to vote, and it would be nice to feel like that again. Like, to abstain from voting because I'm happy. I'm happy with the status quo.
Yeah.
The problem with being happy with the status quo and not voting is that's when the tyrants start to. And I think that's a piece of the puzzle of why we're in the situation we are now. The voting apathy that happened.
Well, I think not voting is a mistake. I think Peter Hitchens is an idiot for pushing this meme. Oh, I'm not going to vote. Or is it like, oh, they're really scared if you don't vote? Like, come on. I mean, if people had voted for UKIP back in 2015, like I did, we would be in a completely different country by now. Unfortunately, only 4 million people voted for them. And so we've just had a decade of chaos, essentially. If people had voted for reform in 2024, instead of having when was the election? 2024, wasn't it? Then instead of having one Rupert Lowe in Parliament, maybe we'd have 10 or 20 or 30 or 50 or whatever. So and the whole thing would be completely different. So it's just moronic to not to vote. Like, this is part of the reason I don't want to do the live stream anymore. I've got to deal with this. I've got to deal with this.
Yeah,
This is what I've got to deal with. What's your fucking plan, you absolute muppet? What are you doing? What are you waiting for? Do you think Napoleon's going to come back and save us? This is just...
My
Anyway.
point is that there's two types of voter apathy, isn't there? There's those that are happy with the status quo, and those that feel like they want to change the status quo, but it's pointless voting. In a 20-something, I was a member of the former. Now there's too many people that are not voting because they feel like it can't make a difference, and perhaps the voter apathy from the point of view of being happy with the status quo has caused, as part of the puzzle of what's happened here. And I would like, if I was to be a vote, and I haven't been a voter apathy since. Well, I've been voting regularly for the last 15 years, I'd say. Whenever we've had an election. But before then, I had absolute voter apathy, and in fact, I would have perhaps voted Labour or Lib Dems back then.
Yeah.
I mean, I was at 20. So I did, and you know what? There's something to be said. If you don't understand anything about politics, why not abstain from voting? The worst thing is when you understand about politics and then you abstain from voting. That's worse somehow.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely don't think. Some people have recommended that we follow the Brazilian system, or somebody in the chat is just saying in Australia. I didn't know they got fined. That's a terrible idea, to fine people for not voting, because then all that's going to happen is you're going to have a mass of people who don't really want to vote and they're not interested in politics at all, but they're being forced to vote, so they just vote for the guy that's funny, or the guy that says they're going to give them free stuff, or whatever. So you're just going to get a bunch of idiot politicians. So forcing people to vote is a terrible idea.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, where do you stand on this, Mercian? Like, can you make it clear? Are you for voting or against voting?
I'm for voting, and I think voter apathy should be from ignorance, not doomerism. I don't think there's anything wrong with voter apathy, but as long as it comes from ignorance and not doomerism.
Yeah, dude. Like, if you're in your 20s, go out and enjoy life. Like, probably shouldn't be doing politics until you're 30. I feel sorry for the Zoomers, like, getting forced to do politics at a young age. It's like, like I totally understand. Like older people are interested in politics, and younger people aren't. You know, I think probably it's better if there's some voter apathy if you're like 25 and you just want to go out and drink on a Saturday night or whatever. But no, I mean, like I'm so fed up with this shit. Like, if we get shit none of us voted for, why would voting get us anything? Well, I don't know, mate. If everybody had voted for reform a couple of years ago, we would have a completely different country now. Like, it's just what? Like, am I wrong? Am I wrong? I mean, is Rupert Lowe a bad guy? I think we can all agree he's a good guy. I understand Farage is a piece of shit, but Rupert Lowe's good. Imagine if we had a parliament full of people like that. So it's just like, what do you want to do? Do you just want to like curl up in a ball and just die? What do you want to do? 'Cause, like, these people, like, oh, well, there'll be a revolution, mate. If you can't even organize yourself enough to create a political party and get elected, you're certainly not going to get organized enough to fight a civil war. You absolute muppet. It's stupid. Do you agree with me, Mercian, or not? What do you?
Well, I agree with the organisation thing. I think that's where like doomerism comes from. It's sort of like looking around at the world and then going, well, these people couldn't run a piss up at a pub.
I mean, I've had people saying like they're banging on like defending Farage, right? Because you've seen it. We've got a chat group, and this argument is just going on and on and on, right? Or like, we got two sides. We've got a bunch of people like ruthlessly defending reform, and then we've got Tharium on the other side, just like saying "fuck," you know. And it's just like,
hold the line, buddy. Hold the line.
Yeah, Tharium's holding the line. Is that enough? He's been so fried out by Hurrian that he's just like he's never falling for that shit again. But what was the point I'm going to make? Like, people are justifying all Farage's really, really bad appointments by saying, like, oh, what do you want to do? Do you want to put Count Dankula in Parliament? Or do you want to put Sargon in Parliament? They don't know how to run a country. And it's like, mate, they'd do a fucking better job than this bunch of idiots. I would much rather have Count Dankula himself, a fucking comedian from Scotland, as Home Secretary than some crazy Muslim lady. Like, this is just... I think a pack of monkeys could do a better job of running the country than the fucking idiots that we've got running the country right now. So don't give me this bullshit that... we need people with qualifications or whatever. Not when they're a bunch of loser Tories who weren't even good in the Tory party. I want a clean sweep. I want new people. Anyway, go on.
Well, there was a country in Europe, I forget which one, it was something like Denmark or somewhere like that, that didn't have a parliament in power for an entire year, and the country just ran as normal.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it was Belgium.
Yeah, I forget which one it was.
Yeah.
I'm trying to Google it right now.
I think it was Belgium, but I mean, the point is, the civil service runs the country. Parliament doesn't run the country. Parliament is supposed to be the legislative section of the government. They make laws. They don't really run the country. It's supposed to be a group of people. They get together, and they debate stuff. And they pass laws, and then that changes the direction, in which the country is heading. You see, the civil service does the day-to-day running of the country.
Well, here's the thing, right? So you were right; it's Belgium. So in between 2010 and 2011, it didn't have any formal government for 589 days. And then 652 days without full federal government between December 2018 and October 2020.
Yeah.
It's sort of like this idea that we need like the best people to be prime minister. Quite frankly, if there wasn't a prime minister, things would just tick along. Because Belgium proved this twice.
They also kicked out the Yellow Jackets kicked out their prime minister. The Yellow Jackets managed to I'm trying to find. I can't find it because they memory hold it, and everybody memory hold it, and nobody seems to remember it. It wasn't just the Yellow Jackets, but they did manage to kick out the prime minister of Belgium. Essentially, he was forced to resign because there was a mob of angry people. It was such a huge victory for us, and then everybody just.
Well, it was probably memory hold because the media refused to report on it because they can't make their technocratic overlords look bad.
Yeah. I mean, are you on board? Do you see the point I'm making about liberalism? Did you watch my video about Connor Tomlinson and the blank slate?
Yeah. No, I agree with you. Even though I'm the Sargonite I am, I've always felt. Well, don't forget. I mean, before 2019, Sargon would have called himself a liberalist, literally. And I guess it's the whole blank slateism, and I think it's like you said, you can use any ideology to justify anything you want. And all I think about liberalism is just plug in the blank slate theory, fix that. Come in, Mercian comes in as the next philosopher. So we've got a problem with blank slate theory, but everything else about liberalism this is how we fix liberalism. Patch that, like the Anglos do. There's the patch there. That's where liberalism can go from here. I've written a new book on it, and it's a new sort of so you can John Locke, Mercian.
Yeah,
this is new liberalism.
You get it. You understand it. That's the British system. Our system is a patch. Everything's just a patch. We don't tear the whole thing down and write a new constitution by, Sargon and Connor Tomlinson get together and write the new founding document of England. It doesn't work like that. Our system is an old system where we basically just fix the leaky roof every couple of 100 years,
It's like Trigger's broom. The whole thing's just sort of what was the original thing? But it just evolved over the years, and we've just managed to keep it going. And other countries are gassed of what the hell have the English done this time? And we're we've improved things, buddy.
We just tweak it. We tweak the system. This is what I said in my video. I feel like I'm Edmund Burke, right? Because this is exactly the point that he made in his reflections on the Revolution of France. He saw the horror of the revolution and he was like, whoa, this is kind of crazy, guys. You don't want to just tear your entire country to pieces and start from year zero. You have these traditions for a reason. You have these institutions and all this for a reason. Change it slowly. Don't rip it all up, And now here I am sitting. I've got Connor Tomlinson and Sargon. And they're like, yeah, get rid of John Locke. And it's mate, he's literally the founding father of America. He's the founding father of the political system that we have in the Anglosphere. Getting rid of him is not a good idea. Maybe develop a new interpretation of what he said, but don't just throw him away.
Yeah, I think. I mean, you could look at the English tradition of having a 16th century house with a thatched roof. You keep the thatched roof, you keep the aesthetic of the cottage or whatever, but you put electricity and central heating in and running water. That's where the English do. So, there was nothing wrong with that house. We just added all the modern things we like.
Yeah. So I've got Lord. When did he start calling himself Lord Tharium? Is that? Anyway, Lord Tharium in the chat saying he's going to, because we're having a conversation tomorrow, but he's very much against liberalism. But the point I make, in my video, the response to Connor Tomlinson, it actually took the entire video to get to the point I wanted to make, because I'm retarded. But if you look at John Locke and what he actually said about the blank slate theory of mind, and I haven't read his book, but I did study it at university a long time ago. Because if you study philosophy at university, usually they'll teach you John Locke, right? But he recognizes there's a difference between, I think, complex and simple ideas. And like a complex idea is an idea that's formed, like you add two things together in your brain. And then there's simple ideas. And a lot of the simple ideas are based on sensations. So if you feel hungry, you'll have the sensation of hunger in your mind. That will form an idea of hunger in your mind, right? So the point being that John Locke accepts that you have different people with different intensities of sensation. So he accepts, like a woman's going to have different sensations to a man. A woman will have a sensation of lust for a man will have a sensation of lust for a woman. A woman will have a maternal instinct towards a child, and a man will have a maternal instinct or a sensation towards going out and hunting and killing people or whatever. So there's plenty of room within John Locke's theory of mind to accept that different bodies give different sensations and therefore have a different effect upon the mind, essentially. So you can still be a racist and follow John Locke's theory of mind, in my opinion.
I don't even. I don't even think you need to be a racist to be an ethno. You just have to like one's own race.
Okay, but putting that aside, you see the point I'm making about
I see the point you make. I just sort of like. Well, it's not even that I'm opposed to the term being called a racist or whatever. It's just that I don't want to hate anything. You know what I mean? Like I get the idea that foreigners shouldn't be here. Like I understand that, and I understand that our ethnos needs to be the dominant ethnos in our country, as I believe with any ethnos across the world. It's almost like the classic example is sort of like the grey squirrel being introduced into England. You know, where are the red squirrels now? They're in sort of communities in Scotland and a few places in northern England. All nearly extinct in any other way. Like, do I need to hate the grey squirrel to sort of say I'd prefer the red squirrel to be dominant in this country?
Yeah, because you want to kill him. So
no, but you see what I'm saying.
I mean, I guess you can kill them without hatred. I mean, that's fair enough. I suppose it's a. I mean, I don't hate grey squirrels, but I mean, you want to kill them, don't you? That's the only way to get rid of them.
Barry hates grey squirrels.
Yeah. I mean, do I hate grey? I never really thought about that.
Well, what I'm saying is, can't we?
Maybe I will grow to hate them at some point when the time comes for us to deal with. We've got too many problems on our plate right now.
To deal with the squirrel problem, yeah. So like, fix everything else, and then we'll get to the squirrel issue.
We will get, and at that point, we will be paying, £10 for a grey squirrel skin, and we'll just have a horde of 12-year-olds running around the place with rifles, just like hunting them down. Essentially, it'd be beautiful. It'd be fantastic.
Does my want of red squirrels being the squirrel of this country come from love of the red squirrel, hate of the grey squirrel?
Hate is the flip side of love.
I don't know.
If you love something, you'll hate the person that's.
I don't think you need to hate.
I do.
Yeah, I don't think you need to hate to want the red squirrel to be. I'm using this to get around YouTube's crap and everything. So you know what I mean. But if we use this as an analogy, I don't think you need to hate the grey squirrel even to want the red squirrel to be the dominant squirrel.
I think who's that guy that did that? That famous I'm forgetting his guy's name. I was going to read the Century of Self. Who did the Century of Self? Somebody in the chat remind me. Century of Self, the documentary. It's not Curtis Yarvin. That's Menzies Mulberg. It's I can't remember his name. Somebody in the chat remind. Have you seen the Century of Self? The video. Anyway, whatever. Great documentary, like 3 hours long, 6 hours long, whatever. But he kind of makes the point that in the 20th century, they want everyone just to be cool, like just to be calm. They want everyone to. They don't want people to love, and they don't want people to hate. Like that, we've developed this psychological theory, this kind of therapeutic notion that's just been accepted as the mainstream by psychologists, that hatred is a bad emotion. Or you can't have these. You can't have these bad emotions. No, you have to be anesthetized. You have to take your Valium, and you have to. I can't believe nobody in the chat remembers this. Come on, guys. You have to take your Valium. You have to be kind of like slightly brain dead. You have to watch a soap opera. You have to watch EastEnders. You have to kind of like dribble out of one side of your mouth, and you definitely can't hate. Or Adam Curtis, you can't feel anger. You can't feel these intense, raw, passionate, and sometimes violent emotions. These things are bad. No, stay away from them. Watch some more Pornhub and have another wank and get it out of your system. And I think that's just completely wrong. I think violent, powerful emotions are a good thing.
Well,
love and hate and passion.
Well, I'll give you another example. Let's say we're both exploring the North Pole, right? And a polar bear is taking interest in us, right? Does it come from hate to shoot at that polar bear, or does it come from self-interest?
No, it's just self-interest. Yeah,
that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
Like, I don't need to hate the polar bear to realise it's a threat, and I need to do something to defend myself.
Yeah, but also you're kind of in their territory.
I mean, there is that too. I mean, like,
so okay. It's kind of like, I'm just saying, like, there is a territorial aspect. They're not invading your territory. You've gone into their territory, and they're just following nature's. Like, if we had polar bears leaving the North Pole and like coming down in, maybe we'd feel different about. I mean, I guess the thing is we haven't been terrorized by animals for such a long time.
Yeah.
But
we're back in the Middle Ages. We've got and wolves are still a thing, and a pack of wolves take interest in us. I mean, does it come from hate of the wolf to realise? I mean, I suppose you might.
No, I see the point you're making. I do see the point. Well, maybe I think perhaps it's just not correct to say anybody hates an animal.
Well,
perhaps that's it. Because an animal's just hungry. Perhaps hatred is just something. Sorry?
You can't call it. That's what Theron would say. You can't call them animals anymore, Brutus.
Yeah. Perhaps hatred is something that's reserved for humans.
Well, my point is a self-defense doesn't come from a point of hate, and I'm in self-defense mode. So we're not invading all that. To my knowledge, I mean, I'm sure there's some smart ass and say, well, actually, we invaded this country X, Y, Z. We're not invading countries anymore. Certainly not in the 21st century. Well, okay, Afghanistan, blah blah blah. We're not, but as of today, I don't know of anywhere the UK is actively invading.
Yeah.
And from that point of view, we're not attacking anyone anymore. So I think it comes from a point of self-interest, and the reason I'm trying to reframe it this way is when we're having these debates with leftists on a rare occasion, and then sort of say, well, your ideology comes from that of hate. Well, can we argue that it doesn't come from hate, it comes from self-defense, and it comes from ourselves? That's where I'd like the argument to be.
No, that's fair enough, mate. Like, that's the safe position to take if you don't want to go to jail for hate speech, I suppose. So fair enough. Yeah, I agree, Mercian. I don't hate anybody. I love everybody. There you go. I agree.
Yeah, but if they come to attack you, they're going down.
Yeah, but yeah.
Self-defense does not come from a position of hate, and I feel like our movement, as it stands today, is a self-defense movement.
It's a self-defense movement. It's all about love, and there's no hate. There's no hate involved. I just don't want to go to the Turkish barbers or the vape shop.
Indeed,
or the kebab shop. It's not hate. I just don't. I just not into it.
Well, I mean, like, I don't. You could argue that I'm a bit of a Little Englander. right?
Yeah.
Like I'm not interested in conquest. I have little interest in other countries. I don't want to travel the world. I was
Do you
living my
not?
not really. Well, I'm
That's
so much of a
interesting.
no.
If you won
I
the lottery, if you had like £10 million, wouldn't
no.
you be like,
I wouldn't be interested.
you
Like
wouldn't just like go, wow, let's go and see. Like, what about, I don't know, the
I
Grand
guess.
Canyon, the Great Wall of China. I don't know. It's kind of cliches. Like, what would I want to see? What would I want to see? I would want to see. I'd want to go on a safari on Africa. I'd
Well,
want to see so many
if,
things. To be honest with you, you don't
if
have that.
no, they're not in me. You. I mean, like maybe I could convince to. I mean, like, I feel like a lot of people do this sort of thing just so they can have a dinner party story or chat up with girls or like, well, I
Oh
was hiking
god.
through the mountains of the Andes over here and I found this tribe of people and we did
Oh
makes
no.
it an interesting dinner guest I suppose, but outside of that it doesn't do a lot for me. I mean, again, if I had the money I'd much rather have like a 10 car garage or
Wow.
I guess that's how my mind works. Like I've very little interest in the rest of the world. But my point was, I
You would
why
never.
should,
If Gandalf came, like, you'd be like, I'm not leaving the Shire, mate. Fuck off.
just like I'm like, yeah, it's like,
You
I'm happy in the show. Why do I want to see more?
Yeah. Fuck off, mate. Like, get your fucking eagles. Get them to drop the ring in Mordor. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
yeah, yeah.
it's interesting.
I mean, I don't think I'm in like car
I want to
pilgrim.
see it all. I'm annoyed that I can't see it. I especially thoroughly enjoyed climbing mountains in Hong Kong. That was such a great just the pleasure of like getting to the top of the mountain
So
and you can. Oh
if
man.
I was there, I'd be like, oh, fucking, it took us so long to go here. I'm fucking knackered. I did this for a fucking view. Fucking ways. Like like
Oh
Carl
wow.
Pilkington.
We are
That's
so
like
different. It's so funny. Yeah, go on.
I am. I mean, I'm like a smarter Carl Pilkington. Ricky Gervais sent Carl Pilkington across the world 3 times, and all he did was whinge about it. That'd be
Right.
me. And me and Carl are aligned on the same things. Like, watch on the telly. What's the fucking difference?
Yeah,
I'd
yeah.
rather watch on the telly in comfort.
Right. Wow. Yeah.
Well, my point is, I'm not alone in. I'm a minority, but I'm not alone in this thinking because the fact that someone like Carl Pilkington exists. And my point was overall going to be sort of like why I didn't want to leave this country. I didn't want to cause ripples around the country. Why have I now got to have the country visit other countries visit me?
Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah. I wonder if like because America's obviously founded by people who did want to leave, and so like genetically they just have that entrepreneurial spirit that like let's fucking go, bro. Do you know what I mean? Like whereas like the Middle Englanders were just like nah. I'm just gonna stay here and eat my turnips
Well,
or whatever.
there's probably two types of people. There's the people who are already rich here and already had the power. So, like, why would you leave that kind of power? And then the peasants that kind of, I'm fine here. I don't even have the resources to go over there. Or why would I want to be somewhere else being a peasant?
Yeah. Oh man, I don't know. I love mountains, dude. I'd like to go to Canada and just look at the mount. I'd like to do the Appalachian Trail. I would so love to do that. Just like it takes like 6 months to walk it. Apparently, I'd be so happy to do that.
Yeah,
That'd be such a dream.
I just sort of like, oh, I've got sunburn now. Oh, my legs are tired. I'd much rather,
Oh
you know what I
wow,
mean? It's
wow,
like, I mean,
yeah,
I mean, I've always thought this that if I have a problem with women, it's because I don't have like I've got interesting stories, but like
yeah,
I wouldn't be able to talk about the stories that I have um, on this stream live, mainly because that would kind of give away who I am.
yeah,
But like I don't have stories for days, and I don't have stories that would interest a lot of women because women are into that. So I've travelled here. Oh wow, that must have
Yeah.
been great. Sort of like, but whereas you can't go up to a woman sort of like, I've got this thing. It took me ages to buy. What do you think of this thing? And I'm like, yeah, very nice. Yeah, whatever. And
Yeah.
I do understand that there is like to impress people. You know, if you travel somewhere and you have a story about it, I
I
just
think it's a mistake to think that people do that stuff. I mean, I guess some people do that kind of thing to impress people. I mean, I never did. I haven't told anybody at work about my travels. I never bring it up. I mean, it's,
well,
you know,
like I could bullshit. I could be a bullshitter and
yeah.
say, oh yeah, I trekked across the Andes and met this
Well,
tribe here.
you need a little Englander like you. You need to find some like 4 foot tall kind of like dwarven hobbit lady who just lives in a bog. Sorry.
No, it's just. I mean, I guess.
You need a little Englander. That's what you
Well,
need. Yeah.
maybe my position comes from a position of poverty because I've I've always been in some kind of poverty, and the
Yeah.
idea of spending money that I don't have traveling,
Yeah, but
you
don't you
know,
dream of it? I mean, I've always been poor as well, but I dream of it. Like I dream, like if I had oh my god, if I won the lottery, I'd probably spend like, I'd probably get on a plane and I wouldn't come back to England for like 2 3 years. I'd just go and fucking see everything. It'd be so much fun. I'd be like, right, let's fucking go. Let's fucking do this. And I'd be like, boom, 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 ticking off the bucket list, you know. I would love to do it. It'd be fantastic.
maybe
Especially Italy. Oh my god. Or Greece, all the Greek islands, all the legends. Oh my god, it'd be fantastic.
well, maybe a part of it comes from living in the Black Country, the West Midlands. Like I'm surrounded by pricks, quite frankly, and I have a job where I get to travel around the country like 100 mile square radius. Like I do get to travel within the country,
Yeah.
and it's obviously something I started doing as an adult, and I've slowly grown to realise that people who live in the West Midlands are fucking pricks.
Oh
They're
really?
horrible people. You're genuine. Like, well, they're miserable. They're like they're
Oh
just
right.
I don't know how can I like they're not very nice people. They're not. It's like in America that New Yorkers have got this hard edge, right?
Right.
I feel like the people in the West Midlands, not quite on New York, but people are more selfish. More people are more self-interested, a bit more depressed.
Right.
But
My geography of England is absolutely so. Midlands is the bit that's next to Wales, basically.
yeah, I
Right.
mean
Yeah.
the West Midlands is like a county. It's surrounded by Staffordshire, Worcestershire,
Yeah.
Warwickshire, and Derbyshire, and the actual West Midlands was the Black Country was part of Staffordshire, and Birmingham, Solihull, and Coventry were part of Warwickshire. And because of the Industrial Revolution,
This
the
is kind of sorry. Can I just? Sorry, I am listening. I'm just. I should know. I'm a nationalist, and I don't know this stuff. This is quite embarrassing. I probably shouldn't admit this, but I'm really not very well travelled in England. But can you see that? Yeah.
yeah.
Uh, yeah, West Midlands. Okay,
So the West Midlands is a region.
there it is.
Yeah, that's the West Midlands region, but it's also a county as well, which is basically a metropolitan area. It's sort of like you basically, apart from Greenbelt that exists within West Midlands, and there is some Greenbelt in there, you can basically travel along the West Midlands from the Black Country to Solihull and not see a bit of proper countryside other than Greenbelt. And this
Right.
is like a county of towns and cities.
So I live in this bit here, which is the West Country.
Yeah.
Cornwall, Devon, Dorset, Somerset. So you think? Yeah, I've just looked. Regions of England.
Yeah.
Government office regions, highest tier of subnational division in England, established in 1994, and follows the 1974 to 96 county borders. Okay. Okay. I should know this stuff. So West Midlands, what's that? Can you see my thing?
That'd be not northwest, wouldn't it?
That's the northwest.
Yeah, it'd be like
That's the
Cumbria,
West Country.
Lancashire,
What's this bit? What's that bit?
East Anglia,
What's that bit? East
East
Midlands.
Midlands.
This is what's that?
That'd be like the Yorkshire.
And that?
That'd be like the northeast.
Where's Newcastle? Is that Yorkshire? Or is it
Newcastle being that bit there? You got to be
this
up there.
top? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the base north. That's the base north. This is the mid. That's south. This counts as south, doesn't it?
Yeah, it counts as south. East Anglia.
So West Country, East Anglia, London. What's this bit?
Would be the southeast.
Southeast, yeah. Southwest, southeast, East Anglia, London. That's the south. This is the mid, and that's the north. Yeah, I'm such a retard. I'm so retarded. I can't believe I don't know this stuff.
You've been calling me a northerner for absolutely ages. I won't correct him or whatever.
Well, you're northern to me, like, you know.
Well, I mean, being in like there are people in your own county who live north of you. They're not northerners, though, are they?
So, what are the Welsh like? Are they nice?
The Welsh, most of the Welsh are nice. I mean, I've heard there's a lot of people who hate England, but I've never met them. They perhaps do it secretly, like, oh, I fucking hate those English. I fucking hate those English. You see an English, oh, hello, how are you? Like maybe they do it secretly. I don't know. I've never met a Welsh person that wasn't lovely.
So, what are the East Midlands like?
The East Midlands, people in the East Midlands, almost similar to the West Midlands, but not as bad.
Do you think it's because you're landlocked? Is that it? Well, like you're like the one landlocked region of the country.
Well, when I mean the West Midlands, I mean West Midlands as the county, not the region.
Oh, okay.
Like once you get into the shires of the West Midlands, people are a lot friendlier.
Okay. West. Okay.
So there should be a bit in there somewhere like that says county.
West Midlands, Ceremony County.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
So this is the shit bit. Okay.
This is the shit bit, and if you live here, and I don't know how many millions of people live there, get out. It's
3 million. You're one of them. So we need to make that. We need to make this 3,036,604.
Yeah, I need out. I need out really badly.
61% white. See, I've heard that the whole east coast of England is actually quite white.
Yeah,
a lot of diversity is just like London and Birmingham and Manchester. It's like this line, like kind of divide. There's like a brown line down the middle of the country. I don't know if that's true. Obviously, the West Country is quite white.
Do you know? It's funny, the whole diversity thing. If you've ever watched like a heat map of the country, and what I mean by heat map is like obviously cities that make a lot more heat in the winter. So, like, if you're looking at a snow map, snow tends to stay away from the cities because cities produce a lot of heat.
Yeah.
And it follows the diversity almost exactly.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. So, like, if you ever watch where the temperature, like, one of those temperature maps of the country, and you'll notice in the centre it's a bit warmer, but for two reasons. It's away from the ocean, so it will be a bit hotter because of landmass or something like that, but mainly because the M6 and M4 and the M1 corridors. But obviously the cities produce a lot of heat, so it's usually like a couple of degrees warmer than the rest of the country, and it mirrors diversity.
Right. Yeah, because it's very urban, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, if we could just stop immigration, the country would be white again in like 200 or 300 years, because all of the cities are population sinks. Like throughout all of history, cities generally are not very good at reproducing people,
But the other
and
things,
they always have their population replaced by people from the countryside. So as long as the farmers are white, eventually the people in the city will begin to look like the people that
well,
live in
Labour are doing the best about that, isn't that? They're really fighting the farmers there.
Yeah, they know. They know. So
Yeah, I'm so against this inheritance tax thing. I can see it for what it really is, and anyone on our side that can't see it for what it really is, they need their heads looking at.
yeah. Well,
I
you're
don't think
basically. I mean, you see my point, though, isn't it? Just to come back to the liberalism thing, like why because it's like they're tearing down John Locke, and it's like, okay, well, now you're losing all of the arguments that people make against big government, like against, like me and you, we're sitting here, we're complaining about being taxed, and we're complaining about inheritance tax, and we're complaining about the NHS, all this stuff, right? This giant blob that sits above us. The counter argument to all of that is essentially a libertarian argument. It's a classical liberal argument. And the argument is we want a small government, essentially, and low taxes, and we want to be left alone. Once you've turned against classical liberalism and you've turned against John Locke, how are you going to argue against inheritance tax and all of these things? What is going to be the ideological platform that you're going to use to tear all these things down? Do you see my point?
Yeah, I see your point. So, I mean, the way these things were done in so like if you had a problem with Locke in the past, you'd sort of like, well, these are all the problems with Locke. This is what I would do to fix all the problems that Locke has caused. That was the intellectual tradition.
Yeah.
But people didn't necessarily go, well, I didn't like everything that Locke said, so we're going to scrap everything about Locke.
Yeah.
So like this area, I think Locke has a blind spot for, and this is my solution to that blind spot. That's what we need.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like I said in my video. It's like I'm an English ethno-nationalist first, and then classical liberal second. Like I'm defending it because it's part of our tradition. That's the point. But I mean, do you like my solution then is when it comes to the state of nature and the social contract, I would argue that actually it's very rare to have a social contract where people just get together and agree, right? Oh, we're going to have a king. I mean, that can happen, but historically speaking, that's very rare. What usually happens is conquest. And so I would argue that the real social contract is essentially just agreeing or allowing, submitting to the conqueror, essentially. Because some people don't, like the Highlanders, they just refuse to get conquered by Rome, and the Scottish rebelled again, and etc., etc. So some people just continue to rebel until they get their freedom. But I would argue that the social contract is essentially, yeah, okay, you can be king, fair enough. And I would argue that in the English tradition, the social contract was essentially formed with Ethelstan, King Ethelstan. And so that would be my attempt to ground John Locke's social contract theory in history. What do you think of that?
I guess.
I'm offering a solution.
I get. Oh, yeah, I guess. I don't really have any arguments against it, to be honest, Bruce. I feel like we're aligned. Like I said before, Sargon considers himself a liberalist. I've been to university and studied liberalism. I get what Sargon's saying about the blank slate theory. It is a bit of a blind spot. I even tried to.
Hang on. We went over this, and then you went off on a tangent and talked about something else. But I did go into this.
Yeah.
I did say, like, if you actually look at what John Locke says, he says that ideas in the mind, simple ideas in the mind, are formed by sensations, and so hunger will form an idea in the mind, and he does accept that different people will have different types of sensations and different intensities of sensations. So you can accept a difference between, man and woman, adult and child, and different races. That fits in with John Locke's theory of mind. I think Sargon and Connor Tomlinson have created a straw man of the theory of John Locke's theory of mind, and they're attacking that. And I think John Locke would be horrified by what they're saying, and he would disagree with them.
Right. Okay. Well, no, I'm not. I'm not. I mean, you say you're supposed to get taught about John Locke in university. I never was. I mean, day one it was David Hume and Descartes.
Yeah.
I remember that vividly.
Right.
And do you know, we did surprisingly not a lot about liberalism. We there was we discussed Jeremy Bentham. I mean, Stuart Mill was a footnote in my education, to be honest.
Yeah.
And Locke never came up as a philosopher. I was actually surprised to how very little philosophers was actually taught. In fact, I was so disappointed with my degree because I was surrounded by people that didn't want to engage in debate about anything, which I found really odd.
Yeah.
It's like when someone bring up an idea, I'd want to engage with the idea and sort of like, well, this is what I like about the idea, this is what I dislike about the idea. And every time I did, everyone would go and roll their eyes. So I'm like, well, why are you in a philosophy class if you don't want to engage with the ideas? Like this isn't like maths where there's a right and wrong answer. Like get out of my class if you're going to roll your eyes. If I'm going to engage with the thought process, I actually started to get burnt out by the process because I think there was a lot of people there who thought they were going to have an easy time with philosophy, and it's like. I was a bit of a black sheep in that I wanted to engage with the ideas and talk about them, talk about the pros and merits. I mean, I'm going off on another tangent. It's not where you want to go, but I'm just sort of saying, as far as philosophy education goes, it's scary how sort of what's the word I'm looking for? Not trivial, shallow. Everyone treated it.
Yeah. Well, I remember my professors having an immense amount of frustration with the students because they didn't want to debate at all. I remember it, but I wasn't much of a debater. I admit. I don't know, but personally, I just think I was just too young to study the subject matter, and I wasn't well read enough, and I didn't know enough about Western civilization and our history in order to appreciate who these people are. Because I think in order to understand Western philosophy, you have to understand the context in which these people existed. And if you don't know what the Reformation is, you don't know what the Enlightenment is, you don't know anything about the Roman Empire or the Greeks or whatever, if you can't put any of these philosophers into a historical context, then it's kind of like a lot of their ideas just don't really make sense, or you can't. It's like their ideas. You can't see the effect that their ideas had on the flow of Western civilization. Then it's like it's just not very. It becomes a very dry subject matter essentially.
Well, I'll tell you the philosopher I was that got me into philosophy. I was very much into I was very much into Epicurus at the time because
you're an Epicurean. You're a pleasure guy, Mercian.
Yeah. So I was, but at the time I was obsessed with this idea of hedonism, and obviously hedonism in a classical sense doesn't mean the same.
Hedonism or hedonism, or am I just being a ponce?
I think you're picking on the way my northern status, as it were, because obviously the Midlands doesn't exist. So I think that's the same thing. Obviously,
Okay.
in a modern context, that just means, well, it just means giving into one's baser instincts, I suppose, and
Yeah.
sort of like, following the id, as Sigmund Freud would put it.
Yeah.
But uh, Epicurus didn't actually mean it. I mean, it was a seeking of pleasure, but it was very much a simple affair. He had three tenets of what pleasure should be. As I've got older, I've gone against it. It's kind of proto-communist in a weird way,
Yeah.
but it's sort of like, one, you should be self-sufficient. Well, that's part of my rationale to become self-employed.
Mm.
Two, you should live with in a commune with all your friends. That's what I think is.
Isn't that like the opposite of being self-sufficient?
Well, I mean, like you could be like your own farmer, growing your own crops, and then go to live with all your friends.
Okay.
Yeah. Again, it's like you said. You need to think of it in the time of Epicurus, which obviously we talk about ancient Greece now.
Okay.
And then the other was to be sort of like indulgent philosophy and think, you know, think about
Yeah.
everything in that way. But none of that meant like go have sex and orgies and sort of like not produce anything and masturbate all the time,
Yeah.
or whatever people think hedonism is. I consider it proto-communist because of this commune idea. I doubt Epicurus would have considered it like a commune, but like he had this idea that you'd always be around your friends, and as long as you're around all your friends, you're having a great time.
Yeah. Well, that's a fair point. Well, I think no, I think you're correct. I don't think Epicurus, from what I understand of him, I don't think he was a hedonist, and I think he advocated for a balanced life.
He was a
But
hedonist, but it's not the modern interpretation of what hedonism has become. Epicurus was a hedonist. He's literally a hedonist. It's just whatever you're looking through a modern lens. If you hear hedonism, you're thinking about orgies and
yeah.
opulence and decadence. Epicurus was not that.
So what was he then?
What is as I described? For example,
Well, yeah. So a balanced life. Okay. Well, I don't know. Quibbling about the definition of
yeah,
hedonism,
no, but
but as
what
far
I
as
mean,
as far as the modern definition of hedonism goes, he wasn't that, right?
yes, he
So
wasn't. He wasn't.
yeah.
Wasn't it? Although he was a hedonist, because he was interested in pleasure, but his pleasures were a lot more simple.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, the point being that he took pleasure to be the good, essentially, in his moral system.
Yeah,
Pleasure is the thing that is good. Pleasure, like if it's like what is X good and X is pleasure, I suppose.
yeah. But he felt you
Yeah.
didn't need to have
So the
opulence.
hedonists come down from him, even though he himself was a man of moderation. The
Yes,
excess of the decadence and all the rest of it, the degenerates, they all are essentially following in his footsteps, which would be my argument against the Epicurean theory, because once you start taking pleasure, once you believe that pleasure is the highest good, then the question comes, well, why not just rape and murder, essentially, in order to get what I want, in order to experience the pleasure that I want? Why not steal?
but isn't this an example of like you were saying about like liberalism, of how people can twist what he meant? And I would argue to see if Epicurus heard what you said, he would be horrified. So like this isn't
Right. Yeah.
same thing.
Um. Yeah, that's a good comeback. That really is. Yeah.
But like for
What?
like
I
for
mean, it depends what the foundation of. I mean, this. Oh God, how can I answer that? That is a good comeback. I mean, it really depends what how you define liberalism, what did John Locke want? John Locke seemed to just want property rights and a government, essentially, and individual sovereignty.
and if I was to sum up what Epicurus wants, he wanted people to derive pleasure from simplicity.
I
not
think,
excess.
to be honest with you, I don't know what John Locke's
Yeah.
moral
Okay.
theory is. To be honest with you, I'm really not sure as to what it is. It seems like when it comes to the two treatises of government, it seems like he just wanted. Essentially, it's an escape from the state of nature. He's basically just saying, "Look, guys, we can either live in a state of nature and kill each other, or we can be wealthier and happier and safer if we have a king or if we have a government." So, I mean, maybe there's an Epicurean belief underlying Locke in that he's not basing his civilization on virtue or love of God or any other kind of. He's just basically saying we can have longer lives and we can be richer and we can be wealthier and happier if we're not killing each other. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know.
Oh, my point is
Yeah,
like you said, you can twist anything to be what you want it to be if you
yeah, yeah, 100% agree. Yeah, yeah, and that's what's going on. You twist it, you twiddle it. You can, yeah, you just fucking, oh, this is my interpretation of Jesus. That's the classic example. Love thy neighbor. What do you mean you don't? What do you mean I can't give hormone changing drugs to a 12-year-old to turn them into a transgender? You've got to love thy neighbor. Yeah, I mean, that's what people do. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I
So,
find any loophole or seeming loophole to do what they want, and people have always done it, and people will always do it. I mean, look at sport. Like, I'm very much into rallying. Half of rallying is someone's employed to find a loophole in the rules, so they can go faster or whatever, just win the tournament or whatever. There's someone paid to look for loopholes,
yeah.
and that's the same in politics. There's always somebody looking for a loophole for everything. There'll always be that one person trying to do it, and in a weird way, that it kind of makes life interesting. But it's when it becomes pervertedly so.
I do think
And
there are some systems that are more resilient than others, though. I mean, we talked about this the last time we had a chat. I mean, that was my whole argument for direct democracy. Essentially, it's just like the people have family values. Family values is the virtuous life, and so if you give people the vote, then eventually society will trend towards a family-friendly, egalitarian society, and that's a lot harder to manipulate than an absolute monarchy in which like the king converts to Islam and then you've got a big problem on your hands, or whatever, or a communist dictatorship, like the people at the top decide a new rule and you have to follow it, otherwise you get executed. So some systems are more harder to rig and to tear down and to bring down and turn into a tyranny than others. That would be like my ultimate defense of liberalism. It's not that it's perfect, but it's just like,
well, it's coming right back round to what we said. Is we just need a patch.
yeah, you need a patch.
We need a patch for all the people that have found this loophole or twisted. We find this patch that, and it's sort of like, and we're good for another 100, 200 years until someone finds another loophole, and then you're sort of like, right, okay, we need to find a patch for this.
Yeah, yeah. You need it. I mean, part of the problem is isms as well. It's just like it's such lazy thinking. It's just such flag waving, lazy thinking. I'm really just like sick of it. And now that I know that it's French, I just hate it even more. But the whole reason, like we have these conversations and we talk about liberalism, socialism, capitalism. The only reason we're talking in isms is because the French introduced the idea of ideologies, and this was then picked up by the Marxists and what have you, and now people talk in terms of this ism versus that ism, whereas the original philosophers never talked like that. They didn't think in those terms. John Locke did not describe himself as a liberalist. He just said, "Look, this is the way things are, and this is how we should run the country." So they got straight to the ideas themselves. And it's like nowadays people don't go straight to the ideas themselves. There's like a cloud, like covering the sky, so to speak.
Well, if I may go back to my experience at university, and what really upset me in university were people in a philosophy class, and they wanted a black and white answer to everything. And
Right.
that kind of thinking is what's driving. They just want a black and white answer. I think we're run by bureaucrats, and society wants to be a bureaucrat. I want to put a tick in this box, and I don't want it to be hazy. I don't. I want a binary. This is right. This is wrong.
Yeah.
And it's this kind of thinking that is against the Anglo way. There is no right. There is no wrong. There's only shades of grey, and where we'll be depends on where the scales balance, and we need to look for balance.
Yeah, it's justice is in the hearts of men. I think it was St. John that said that, isn't it? I think that's like the foundation for English common law. It's like, it's not like, oh, you broke this law, therefore you go to jail. It's like, let's look at the situation, and was it right or was it wrong in that particular situation, and we'll try to find the justice. Whereas like the bureaucrats, as you say, they'll just say you broke the law, and that's it. Like, say for example, like, I don't know, you have a friend, he's injured himself, he's bleeding to death, you throw him in your car and you drive to hospital at 70 miles an hour, and you break all the speed limits, but you're just trying to get your friend to hospital so you can save his life, right?
Yeah.
So let's say you get drawn up for this speeding ticket and they want to take your license away, so you go to the magistrate's court and you say, yeah, I'm sorry, but like, my friend was dying, and I had to get him to the emergency room. Now, if justice is in the hearts of men, then the magistrate would say, oh, I understand. Okay. But the bureaucrats that rule over us, they'll just say, no, you broke the law. You can just imagine Keir Starmer. No, you broke the law. This is the rule, and you broke the rule, and we're going to take your license away. And it's just like, but then I'll lose my job, and then I'll got all these problems. No, you broke that. It's like fucking Daleks, essentially.
And it's that kind of thinking that's making us get rid of jury trials, because it's inefficient. You either did the crime, and we want to tick this box, and you'll get the punishment no matter your heart and mind.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of I don't know. Actually, I mean, I think, well, we've talked about this before, but I think jury trials kind of, they don't work in a multiracial society.
Well, that too.
Yeah,
but,
so that's a problem.
In an early 20th century world, I wouldn't give up jury trials for anything.
Yeah, they worked. They don't work in a multiracial society. They also struggle against organized crime, because obviously the mob boss will just bully the jury. So they I don't know if they're perfect. I mean, but I think Hitchens is right when they're a defense against tyranny. I think when it comes to organized crime, I think the solution to organized crime is I ascribe to the broken windows doctrine. Like, if you fix the basic things, you're not going to end up with a mafia. But maybe I don't know. Like, yeah, I think jury trial is beautiful, but maybe we need to elect judges. But then, of course, that would lead to the politicization of the judicial system, which might have all kinds. It's a Pandora's box. You don't know what's going to happen there. That could end up terribly. But I mean, that's the way the Romans used to do it. Essentially, the Senate.
That's why the Americans do it, isn't it? They vote in their judges.
I don't think so. I think they get appointed. Don't they? Am I wrong?
Are there any Americans in the chat that can verify?
Let me ask Grok. They don't elect their judges, do they?
I
Do
thought they did.
Americans elect their?
Maybe the Supreme Judges do.
Yeah, well, they get appointed by. Oh,
I'm
okay. So answer by Grok. No, not all Americans elect their judges, but many do, depending on the level of courts. In the United States, judicial selection varies significantly between federal and state courts. Federal judges are not elected. State judges are elected in many cases, but the method differs by state and sometimes, so it's not fixed. It's
I do know that they elect some of the judges. I'm not. Well, you read it off Grok yourself. It's sort of
yeah,
like
state and local levels. Yeah, federal are appointed. So I mean, I don't know if that is that part of the constitution, but I mean, I think that's a good. Yeah, AI ever. Yeah, well, look, Sam Hyde does it. If it's good enough for Sam Hyde, it's good enough for me. So there you go. I think that's probably one of the solutions. Elect the judges, basically, because then we could get rid of all these like useless judges that are
But
polluting
again,
things. Yeah,
depending on how the voting happens, like the same thing that I'm worried about juries. Like, are we actually judged by our peers or a load of foreigners? Like,
yeah, no, absolutely. Well, look, this can only work if we get rid of all the foreigners. Like that's number one priority. So I'm all in favour of a psychotic, totalitarian, authoritarian government to get them out. And once we've got them out, we can go back to our pleasant shire life and our high trust society. And then you can have things like jury trials and electing judges and all of this, because all of that is built on trust. And you don't have the trust if you've got multiple races in your country and they're at each other's throats. So, yeah, like, if I was Prime Minister, I wouldn't. I would. Oh my! I do all kinds of things anyway. But electing judges wouldn't be the first priority. Put it that way.
Well, maybe when we sort of patch liberalism, that could be an entire chapter of what happens in a multiracial society. Is you will have to give up freedoms. Jury trial being an example, and sort of like group rights, sort of fighting each other for group rights.
Yeah.
It's like you can't.
Yeah, liberalism is designed to create and maintain a high trust, open type of society and an egalitarian society, and it doesn't work with multiracialism. It just doesn't work. But multiracialism will end it. I guess John Locke never understood that. The founding fathers of America never understood that. It's
and why would they?
And why would they? Yeah, they can't see into the future, So
they've never had to rest of that idea. But I mean, if one of us writes the book on modern liberalism, that should be one chapter. We have to give up freedoms for this multiculturalism.
Yeah, we just have to learn the lessons. Like giving women the vote was a terrible idea, and creating a welfare state and a bureaucracy that rules over it was a terrible idea. These ideas have derailed the liberal project, and maybe we need to elect judges. Maybe we need to fix jury trial. I'm not sure. As I keep saying, I mean, I think direct democracy and referendums that would. I mean, we could have yearly elections, but at the very once you get the idea in your head, I think it's difficult to lose the idea of why don't we have the opportunity to veto Parliament? Because if we did have the ability to veto anything that Parliament does, I don't think we'd be in the state that we're in right now. I don't think we would have given women the vote. I don't think the Labour government would have been able to pass the Immigration Act that invited all these foreigners in the first place way back in the 60s. I mean, the people of England would just said no. So yeah, there are all kinds of things we can do to patch the system. But I mean, to be fair to the people that are against liberalism, I mean, they do have a point in that I will concede liberalism and even classical liberalism doesn't work in a multiracial society. I will concede that point. Absolutely, it is something that works in an ethnically homogenous society, but not in a multiracial society. And probably, in order to fix the multiracial society, you may need some form of dictatorship for a decade or whatever to put things straight. So I will absolutely concede that point. I just don't want to live in a permanent dictatorship. Essentially, I think we should fix things and then go back to, the way things were. Basically, Shall we end on that, or do you want to say something in response, and then we'll end it?
Well, no, I agree with it. Go back to the way we were. Plus what the lessons we've learned.
Yeah.
So we never do it again.
Yeah. Yeah. No, well, that's the English way. I think you make a mistake, and it becomes part of your history, and you learn from your history. And tearing up your history is just not a good idea. Like you gotta accept English history, warts and all. I mean, this is Jerusalem after all. But I mean, I'm joking. But it's just like I always find that funny because like. I don't know. I mean, we like when our monarch is crowned, it's Zadok the priest, and some people would want to change that, but I wouldn't, because I just think it's a tradition. A real traditionalist wouldn't want to change that.
Some people want to get rid of the House of Lords, but I know why the horse. Well, I think I know why the House of Lords. Lots of people say I'm wrong on it, but I genuinely think it's a check and balance. But
yeah, I would give the Prime Minister the ability to basically pick and choose who goes in the Lords. That's what I would do.
Well, isn't that what Blair did?
They can't sack them. They're in there for life. I would. What would I do? Yeah, I'd keep it as like a a place. It's nice. Like, I think older guys that have served the country or whatever, they've got some expertise. They're historians or whatever. They've got some deep knowledge. It's nice to have a place where you can put them so they can kind of like talk to each other and give a commentary on what the government's doing or whatever. So I don't think it's completely valueless, but currently it's just stuff full of idiotic left-wing morons.
What I would say to anyone who's against the House of Lords, riddle me this: was it the House of Lords that did this to the country?
Well, they haven't stopped it.
Blairism. Yeah. Well,
there's like 800 of them.
Yeah.
And they have they essentially have like tenureship at university. It's like the same concept, isn't it? So they're in there for life. They have a position of authority. They have the ability to speak in the halls of power, and they do not care about what is happening to our country. They're not pushing back at it at all. So I mean, they're just totally impotent. But there you go. I mean, all the institutions have failed. So
Well, I suppose that everything can be subverted, and I don't know how long the subversion. Like, I don't know where the worm tongue in this country started, or who the worm tongue actually is. There's obviously been a worm tongue in this country and almost every country across the West.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you can't get to this point without some kind of worm tongue.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think we got a worm nose. That's what we got, with a small hat. Yeah. All right. So yeah, 9:30. Bruce wants his Big Mac and fries. Big Mac and fries. Saturday night. Big Mac and fries. Yeah. I might watch a movie actually. I might watch. I feel like watching Private Ryan for some reason, just because I saw Matt Damon talking about it on Joe Rogan. Just want to see that like 20-minute intro scene, like the D-Day scene, because that's fucking wild. I haven't seen that in years, so I may watch that. Thank you everybody in the chat. Thank you for You know, anybody wants to come on the show, guys, just find me on Twitter and I'll interview you and harass Mercian. Harass
Why did I
Mercian.
say? God,
Harass Mercian and Mercian will interview you. And that's it. That's the plan. We're going to have
don't harass
chats.
them. Listen, ask nicely.
Ask Mercian nicely. Ask Mercian about his cars. That's the way to Mercian's heart. Just ask him about cars, and do a car. I want to see Mercian's car stream. That's what I want to see, and I want to see Mercian. I want to see like 2 hours of Mercian talking about cars. Basically, I think that is what the internet needs.
I'll
That's what.
see if I can get Jeff buys cars on stream.
Yeah, that's what we've all been waiting for. I think you must you have the ability to red pill the. I mean, let's face it, you're a boy racer. Let's be honest with you. You are a grown up boy racer, and your calling in life is to red pill the boy racer community, and just
By
say,
doing
hey,
a donut and saying down with the government.
do what? Do a donut and send it. Yeah.
Like,
Just
follow me, boys. Check this donut out.
yeah, like, don't you remember in the 90s when everything was great and we had boy races? Let's go back to that. Yeah, Top Gear nationalism, basically, isn't it? But anyway, let's end the stream there. Right, enjoyed that. My voice has gone dry. I can't speak anymore. So thank you for coming on the show, Mercian, and I will return tomorrow night to completely annihilate Tharium. Tharium's going to get wrecked, and it's going to be beautiful to watch. So thank you, everybody, and goodbye.